here to do the devil's work.
If you need a movie that just lives and breathes all things Halloween, then Trick or Treat has got to be on your radar for each and every spooky season. Written and directed by Michael Dougherty, a guy that would eventually go on to direct Godzilla King of the Monsters for Legendary's Monsterverse, which I quite enjoyed, even though some people didn't, but hey, we all got different preferences. It all started with a character idea that he had that represented the spirits of Halloween, in a literal sense, a small childlike entity that combined the fun-loving energy of a kid on Halloween night getting candy, but also combined that with the dark ritualistic origins of the Night of Samhain. The character himself is named Sam, after an abbreviation of the word Samhain, which is spelled in a way that if you tried to pronounce it outright, you would sound like Dr. Loomis from Halloween 2.
Samhain. It means the Lord of the Dead.
Sam was originally designed for an animated short film made by Dougherty back in the 90s, but the idea of a fun-loving spirit in a Halloween character, much like a Santa Claus but for the Halloween season, stayed with him until he eventually got the opportunity to make his own horror film, and it would also be his debut film. Although Sam is an important character to the movie, the film itself isn't specifically about Sam, it's about all aspects of Halloween. And it takes the approach of an anthology format, basically following 4 or arguably 5 different storylines that are all taking place in the same town on Halloween night. Each story has a brief overlap with the other ones, but the film is told in an out of chronological order kind of way, although nothing about the movie is really that confusing.
Wait, there's another tradition. Always check your candy.
But I think the most interesting thing about it to me is the decision to make all of the stories leads into different age brackets. So you essentially get to see what Halloween is like from everybody depending on how old they are and what Halloween represents to those different age groups. It's something that's really interesting and unique to this holiday that I've always noticed. The storyline with the kids is about trick-or-treating and pulling a scary prank. The one with the young girls is an allegory for wearing sexy costumes and trying to go out and get laid. The adult one is, well, he's carving a pumpkin that is a severed head with his son, so it's kind of wholesome. And the old man story is basically a play on Ebenezer Scrooge, except with an old man that hates Halloween instead of Christmas. How Sam plays into it all is kind of like a watchful ambassador of the holiday, making sure that everybody follows the rules and is doing Halloween properly. Like always giving candy out to trick-or-treaters, always wearing a costume, keeping the jack-o'-lantern lit until midnight, and respecting the dead. But if you fail to do these things and follow the rules of Halloween, then Sam comes to make sure that you understand your mistake in the most brutal ways possible. Kind of like in the opening scene of the movie where the couple starts to take down their Halloween decorations before the night is over. The movie also doesn't take itself seriously, which is why it's able to have so much fun with the concept. This isn't a movie that's actually trying to scare you or anything, even though there are some perhaps disturbing parts. It's more so just a movie about having fun and pretty much celebrating Halloween. For example, the adult character is straight up poisoning children with his candy for fun and then burying the bodies in his backyard. I think one of the best scenes in the movie, and one that always makes me laugh, is when the dad is trying to bury the body of a child that he just murdered, and his own son keeps annoying him from yelling from the window.
Why?
Because you'll bother the neighbors. Now go watch Charlie Brown, and I'll be in a minute.
Charlie Brown's an asshole.
But don't worry, he does actually love his kid, and the kid's not in any danger. In fact, he's teaching him his ways by helping him carve a severed head of another kid. It's honestly a strong family bonding moment, and I really enjoy it. The storyline with the children is also a really fun one. It's your typical cliche, but it works very well here. The group of popular kids all dress up for trick-or-treat and decide that they want to take the weird girl out with them, but only so they can pull a prank on her and try to scare her. It pulls out the classic urban legend idea where they take her to a quarry where supposedly there was once a bus driver that drove a bus full of weird students into the quarry in order to murder them. The driver is said to have survived, but the ghosts of the children still haunt the quarry to this day. But of course, this all builds up so that they can take the nerdy girl down here, all put on zombie costumes, and then try to scare the shit out of her. And it works. But soon after, the snobby girl kicks the last lit jack-o'-lantern into the water, and oh man, you're not supposed to do that. Without the protection of its light, the actual zombie versions of the dead children spring to life, and as the kids plead for help, Rhonda leaves them all to reap what they sow. And yeah, this movie actually does kill this whole bunch of kids, but they kind of deserved it. The storyline with the group of older girls has Anna Paquin in the lead as a girl named Lori. They all get dressed up and are looking for boys to bring to their party in the woods for that night, and the movie leads you to believe that it's all about Lori losing her virginity. Lots of innuendos and dialogue point to that fact, but you're meant to see her as this innocent and pure girl, perhaps ripe for a victim from the father seen earlier in the movie, now dressed up to go out and harm even more people. But oh wait, there's a twist. And major spoilers here, obviously. Lori only fakes being a timid girl so that she can capture the stalking murderer and then bring him to the party, not as somebody to have sex with for the first time, but somebody to, eat for the first time. Yeah, the entire group of girls are actually fucking werewolves all along. And listen, man, I know I'm down bad sometimes, but this scene in particular does something for me that I just can't describe. And here's a brief reason why.
It's my first time, so just bear with me.
Also, if I'm into werewolf chicks, does that retroactively make me a furry? I don't know, but it is what it is. The final segment is the best one, though. The old grouchy man that hates Halloween, played by Brian Cox, refuses to hand out candy to trick-or-treaters. Well, Sam is not going to have this. The finale is about as traditional of a slasher/monster movie as you can possibly get, where Sam invades the old man's home, and there's a bunch of suspenseful build-up until he's inevitably revealed. And then it becomes a fight for his life. The old man gets thrown down the stairs, he gets glass stuck in his hands, and I love how all of Sam's weapons are like, a chocolate bar with a razor blade in it, or a half-bitten lollipop that looks like a knife. I was told that Sam, the character, was played by an actual child for the movie for as much of it as possible because the director wanted his movements to actually feel like a little kid, to give that same sort of playful whimsy to him that only kids can replicate, while at the same time also being an actual intimidating force. My favorite is when the mask gets ripped off for the first time and we see Sam's face look kind of like a flesh jack-o'-lantern. Even when the old man shoots him with a gun, instead of blood pouring out of his head, it's just pumpkin guts and seeds. And he can also, obviously, regenerate. But you want to know what Sam's weakness is? How do you actually stop him? Well, all you have to do is follow the rules of Halloween. Once the old man actually does give him a candy bar, Sam is like, all right, we're good now. See, all he wanted was a chocolate bar. And then he just leaves. Sam would have loved that guy from Friday the 13th Part 5. I guess now we'll all think twice about not putting candy out for trick-or-treaters after this movie. Except there is one final twist. The zombie kids from earlier, well, turns out the old man is actually the bus driver. And they all come back for revenge in the final scene. Damn. I love this movie for its creativity with how it interlocks its different stories, and it's just like a love letter to the entire season of Halloween. With a concept like this and a mascot like Sam, it's a shame that this movie never spawned a franchise or at least even one sequel. Of all the movies that never needed a sequel and got way too many, here's an example of one that you could constantly use to tell many different kinds of Halloween stories, and yet we only have the one movie. But hey, it's only 80 minutes long, and it has such a dedication to the holiday, so if you want to respect the traditions of Halloween and have a fun horror film to watch this season, I say go ahead and watch Trick or Treat. Also, I want to throw a special thank you out to everybody out there that went along with my month of horror idea here on the channel and watched these different horror movie reviews. I put out several. I put out From Dusk Till Dawn, The Exorcist, American Werewolf in London, Pumpkinhead, and now Trick or Treat. And these videos, let's be honest, they didn't do too well on my channel this month, but it was something that I had a lot of fun doing, something that I felt passionate about, and you guys that actually watched them and, stuck it out with me this entire holiday season, I just want to say that I really, really appreciate it. You guys are awesome, and it means so much to me. Anyways, guys, if you have seen Trick or Treat, let me know what you think about it down in the comments below. Do you love it? Do you hate it? How do you feel about it? Where were you when you first saw it? And do you personally follow all the rules of Halloween? Anyways, other than that, guys, please like the video and comment to help it in the algorithm. And if you want to support the channel on a deeper level, I do have channel memberships turned on, Patreon, merch store, all that stuff linked down below, as well as all the various social media links where you can follow me. Other than that, guys, I hope you have a happy Halloween, and I'll talk to you next time.
Charlie Brown's an asshole.